What is your full name?
My full name is Gurjeet Singh, I told you.
Okay, how can I address you?
You can address me by my first name, Gurjeet.
Okay, Gurjeet. Could you please show me your ID?
Yes, here it is.
Okay, you look good. Do you work or study?
I'm currently a student. I recently completed my senior secondary examinations and I passed them with flying colors.
Okay. What are your future plans?
Uh, I'm looking forward to pursue my undergraduation in some foreign university or college. That's why I'm preparing for IELTS.
Mm-hmm. So why not in India and why in a foreign nation?
Uh, the reason would be I like the culture of foreign countries as I have lived around 18 years of my life in India. So I want to explore other countries too. The that is why.
Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Uttarakhand. I live in a small town of Uttarakhand actually, named Nanak Mata.
Hmm. Okay. Tell me more about your hometown.
So as I told you, my hometown name is Nanak Mata. It is a very small town. We don't we It is not that much famous around the neighboring cities. But yeah, here is a historical Gurudwara known as Gurudwara Shri Nanak Mata Sahib, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji visited in 1470.
Okay. Now I'd like to ask you some questions related to history.
Okay,
What did
actually,
you
I'm
study
very
in history? No, wait. Okay. What did you study in history lessons when you were at school?
well. I mostly studied whatever was taught in my syllabus. I learned
Mm-hmm.
about the ancient history of India and the medieval part as well as the modern part, like from the start of uh, what we call
Mm-hmm.
fight of independence to the point where we got the independence. I studied all of that.
Mm.
I am really inspired by all the struggles of our heroes.
Okay. Did you enjoy studying history at school? Why or why not?
Well, there were some parts of history that I really enjoyed. Like I enjoyed modern history the most. Apart from that, I couldn't find any other. Like I didn't like ancient history and
Mm.
the medieval history. Uh, but
Mm.
I really enjoyed because I connected to the a modern history. That is why I liked it.
Okay, what's the difference between modern history and ancient history?
Well, first and foremost difference is between the time period. Modern history is quite recent one, and the medieval one is like some 500-600 years old. So there are so many changes happened after the medieval history. So there are not so many what we can say places left that were present in medieval history that are present till date. So that is the difference I find.
Okay, difference I found. Okay. How often do you watch TV programs about history now?
Well, I rarely get a chance to watch TV. So I see that I haven't watched any history program in last few months.
Okay, and what do you feel about that?
Well, I think that I should I should watch history programs because I learn about more about ourselves and our country.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so your part one is over. Now let's move on to part two. Are you ready?
Okay, let me
Okay,
grab the
give me a
pen.
second. Okay, all right. Could you
Yeah,
please check our channel so that you'll get the question? I have shared your cue card. Your
yeah,
cue card
I
is
got.
describe the neighborhood you lived in when you were a child. Describe the neighborhood you lived in when you were a child. You will have to talk about the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. You have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. You can make some notes to help you if you wish. And your 1 minute time starts now.
Okay, should I start?
Okay, go ahead. All the best.
Okay, thank you. So I grew up in small town of Nanak Mata, and I'm currently residing over there only. And so the environment there was pretty calm, and mostly there are all people from all the age groups living here. And so as I have been living here since my childhood, so I know most of the people here, and I really enjoy living here. Most of the people are engaged in farming or other activities like some are into armed forces and some are doctors as well. So here we have a mixture of people like who are really who make a very nice community. And I would say, okay, like every uh,
Mm-hmm. Come on.
mm, wait,
Come on.
uh, uh,
Hmm.
I'm out of my words.
No, 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 no. You can. Come on.
Mm,
Come on, Gurjeet. You can. Come on.
okay, wait.
Time's running. Tick, tick, tick. Come on. Just 30 seconds more.
Okay, so
Hmm.
yeah, so I have so many friends from my neighborhood area, and I've studied with them. I I also go to different places uh, to spend time with my neighbors, and so it is a very good place, I would say, because it is in the village area, and the uh, area is very calm and quiet. Yeah, I really love my place.
Okay, thank you. Since you mentioned that you wanna study abroad, how will you be feeling if you move away from your neighborhood?
I would say I will definitely miss my place because I have so many memories with it. But on the same side, I also feel that I'll have to uh, move to a foreign country to uh, grow uh, grow grow up in life and become successful.
Okay. What sort of things can neighbors do to help each other?
Well, there are a lot of things that neighbors do to help each other, because neighbors are, I feel neighbors are like a second family to us. So they are the only ones who we can refer for help at any moment, be it day or night, without any hesitation.
Okay, fine. How well do people generally know their neighbors in your country?
Well, as the more and more people are moving to cities, so in cities, life is very fast-paced, and people generally do not get time to interact with neighbors. But there are
Why did
some
you say that?
pub-
Why do you think they don't actually get much time to spend with their
bec-
neighbors?
because they are so busy with their work life, I would say. They are
Mhm.
so much busy with their work and all, so though they generally don't get much time to interact with the neighbors. But there are
Mm.
public places like parks and grounds where they generally come across and interact.
Okay. How important do you think is it to have good neighbors?
Uh, well, it is as much as important to like I would say it has the same importance of having a good house. I'll compare this to having good neighbors, because if we don't have good neighbors, we'll not like the place. If for an instance, uh, assume that we have a neighbor who was always angry on us for little things, then we will definitely not like to live in that place and move from that place.
All right. So thank you. Your trust is over. Okay. Now, about your speaking,
Oh,
your part one went on really well. And one thing that I should mention is that you are using good diplomatic language. That means you were really polite. Well and good. Now, one of the critical areas that you should focus on and one that will reduce your band score is your cue card. You just ran out of
I
words.
know it.
You
I
said, I
know it.
don't know. Hmm. Okay, so here I won't be able to really give you a accurate band score because you just messed up your cue card.
Your card.
And in part two, especially, you had struggles. Initially, it was good, but you said, wait, I got a thing and all. So you could use some strategies or some ways of speech in part three. However, I won't recommend that in part two. In part two, since it's a monologue, they are testing your speaking and how much you can speak in that particular part of the speaking test. And since you
Mhm,
weren't really able to do that, I have no way but to reduce your band score. And
mhm,
part three was okay. I didn't find any grammar problems, but you can improve your vocabulary. Rather than angry, you could have used furious, which would be a better option.
mhm.
Otherwise, your clarity was there. Clarity was there. Pronunciation is okay. Grammar is fine. You should focus more on lexical resources and more than that, focus on your cue card. Okay.
Yes,
So if
brother.
I
I really
don't,
need
if
some.
I'm not, yeah, if
Yeah,
I'm not
please
considering
continue.
your cue card, you could easily get a 6.5 or plus, even 7, because most of the people do get confused and something. You didn't get confused, you do understand the questions. However, in part 2, you're messing it up. So don't do that, work
Mhm.
more on that part. And otherwise, you
Yes.
did speak well. Okay, so work on your part 2. It's really good that you are using a polite language. You do greet really well. You mentioned thank you and all. One more thing. Uh, Before starting the recording, I did ask you your name, and after that also. So once I get started with the mock test, then we are starting over. I don't really know you. I'm just your examiner, and you're just a candidate. Okay, that's how
Sorry,
it will work.
I didn't know you were recording. Sorry for that.
Okay, okay, no worries. I
I
usually record this because once you listen to your own recording, you would understand where you made the mistake. That self-realization, self-evaluation, and everything should be there. That's why I record the stuff. Okay.
Yes, brother.
So next
Please,
time, do work on these points. Mm-hmm.
please, can you little bit give me a little bit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
some advice for improving the cue card? Like, what can I do?
It actually depends. Just personalize it. Some people won't be having ideas. They will be lacking the words or vocabulary words, then maybe connectors. I don't know, a lot of things. Right. So find where your problem is. Most probably you are just tripping out or in between you went blank. That
Hmm.
happens with a lot of people. Okay, that happens and it's perfectly normal. Don't need to be really bothered about that. So work more on this cue cards and it's about the neighborhood. It's about your own area. You already know about the place, so you could have mentioned some things. And if possible, try to include emotions. Okay.
Okay.
So even you did talk about the future and also include emotions. We are human beings, and if we include emotions, maybe humor also, that can actually improve your band score. I know a guy, not that much personally, but I have seen him in real life. I have talked to him, and he is in a foreign nation at the moment. The thing with
Okay.
him is that he had written IELTS 2 or 3 times, only got it after the third or fourth time, I guess. Okay, third time.
Hmm.
And last time he did get a band 7. And even his brother, family member, knew that he wasn't that much amazing speaker, but that
Hmm.
humor helped him. Even the examiner laughed with that guy. So if that laughter is there, otherwise some examiners do get impressed by your story or the way
Hmm.
you present yourself. So those things also
Hmm.
matter. It's about
Yes.
impressing them. And one more thing,
Okay.
not in IELTS also in life, if you get attention, that's where you get the following. If you have that attention, you get money, you get people. So that's how you become great. So try
Hmm.
to get that attention. Not
Okay.
everyone will be able to do that, but work on it. Once you get that attention in life, I'm not telling you to show off or anything, but just show off your value. And people will come to you no matter what. At least one person. Right? So try to get that
Okay.
attention while speaking. While speaking, I should feel like, oh, I like this guy, or this guy's speech is good, or the story is good.
Hmm.
One thing that made me attracted to you is your polite language. That's one thing that I noticed more than anything else. I did notice your other things when it comes to language, but you were more diplomatic, and some people don't know what diplomacy is. They would be so rude,
Even
so short.
even I
Hmm.
don't know. Even I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like I'm hearing from
All
you.
right. So what diplomatic language means is that even in writing and speaking, once you speak or write politely, you will be able to do that more. That means you will be able to stretch it. Rather than saying, give me that thing, you can say, could you
Hmm.
please provide me that? Could you please give me that? Okay,
Yes. Yes.
that is diplomacy. Moreover, you can include business language. In communication, if you include that corporate language, then you would sound far better. In a way, you may sound different, but yeah,
Hmm.
your speech will be improved if you include that business related talk. Of course, you can include the ways of speech, the sentences, even the vocabulary that is included in that word. That's a different story. You don't need to learn that for IELTS, but yeah, if you use
Yes.
diplomacy while speaking or writing, it would be better, especially if you're a general candidate in we teach formal letters and informal letters, and in between semi-formal as well. So if you just ask the students as a
Hmm.
quiz or something, what I do is that I'll tell them I don't write anything. It's all my
Hmm.
speech. I'll tell them 2 sentences, or sometimes I write it, and I'll ask them which is formal and which is informal. The basic difference
Hmm.
is that in formal letter you are using business language, and in informal letter you are using casual language. That's the basic
Yes.
difference. And in formal
Hmm.
letter you got a request. Maybe you will present with the reason, and
Hmm.
you got to request something if you are
Hmm.
doing something. So if there is a question like you lost something in an airport, or and you lost the ticket or boarding pass, there was a problem.
Hmm.
So it's more like a request rather than that. So I would really appreciate it if you would compensate for my ticket charges as well as my expenses, which include the taxi fares. right? So here we wrote more rather than, ah, since you made the mistake, I need it. You sh
It is
or
better
else you can use
to
other words.
ask politely
Be polite.
because
Exactly.
it'll attract and they cannot resist,
Hmm.
you know. They'll think
Yeah,
once
and
before rejecting us, you know. That kind of thing.
exactly. And ego and all people got ego issues. So if you're polite, you aren't hurting the ego. And in a way, there is other ways of writing also. You can be authoritative. That is another story. But here, focus on being polite, and you're polite. That's good. Okay. So work on the things that I mentioned, and maybe
Okay.
I'll be uploading this recording to YouTube. So watch it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And if you're listening
Bye.
from YouTube, please do subscribe and join my Telegram channel and group. Thank you.